Coming up on the ultimate Sportsman's Lodge.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Let me tell you what can go wrong.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We could lose 20, 30 feet of wall.
Every builder needs somebody to check in.
Hopefully by about 5, we'll have all the concrete in.
But Mother Nature has no boss.
Light is just getting too close. It's not safe.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've got to meet that deadline.
Chris and Amy Dorsey are building a massive 10,000 square foot outdoorsman's paradise.
It wouldn't be an ultimate Sportsman's Lodge if you didn't have a trophy room,
A sauna, a pizza oven,
top of the food chain kitchen, liar's bar.
his and her bathrooms.
We're going to have to bring our A game to make this thing work. Let's get this baby going, huh? And we had some close friends that shared some advice on their own Sportsman's Lodge.
To come to a place like this with such beauty and solitude.
This is important for the family to have this kind of a place in the American West.
We're Chris and Amy Dorsey, and we're living our dream by building the ultimate Sportsman's Lodge.
For the past 2 months, workers have been transforming the landscape for the Dorseys' build near the small town of Sedalia, Colorado.
I'm a small town girl, so I want that for my kids.
Working around the clock, they complete a critical phase of the project.
We're finally done with the footing. We can officially sign it off.
Today, the teams ramp it up with all eyes on the ultimate objective.
The biggest thing is this project is really to be off the grid. So we're using a lot of really high-end componentry to make it very efficient.
And for this lodge, being energy efficient starts from the ground up. For the subfloor walls, they'll use ICFs, or insulated concrete forms.
Our concrete sits in the middle, and we have an extra 2 inches of foam. So that adds a lot of R value to the foundation, which makes it much more efficient.
The higher the R value, the greater resistance to losing heat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't call it going green. I call it the Camo Coalition. This is, Sportsmen were the original conservationists, the first one to think about, giving back to the land. I think it's just a sort of a consistent in the DNA of sportsmen, that you're smart about these things, and if you can conserve energy, why wouldn't you do that?
These molded foam blocks not only slash energy costs well beyond traditional wooden forms, they can also be assembled much quicker.
We use these inside pieces here to tie in our rebar both vertically and horizontally, and then they literally just stack right on top of one another to interlock.
Almost Lego-like.
I want to get my son out here and have him put a few of these together, He'd be all over this.
And then we make sure that we run a whaler on the bottom, which is a 2x4, so that it holds the bottom piece locked in.
I think having dreamed this place for 20 plus years, and when you step in and see the foundation, it's real at that point. I mean, it's just such a big feeling.
Really exciting to see that come together.
Though their ultimate Sportsman's Lodge is far from completion, they've already staked out their favorite rooms.
Oh, the kitchen. It's always the kitchen. So there's an indoor kitchen and then there's an outdoor kitchen. So being able to sit in that room and cook something and eat something right there is fantastic.
Before we got married, she never even made toast.
It's true.
Back at the build, the team's still on a roll, and Amy arrives to check on the progress.
We worked over the weekend, worked some extra long days, and we're actually 2 days ahead of where we thought we were going to be. And as you can see, our foundation is boarded up, ready to go.
I had to tell you, impressive based on this weekend and all that rain. It's good to see the sunshine and your well ahead schedule, it looks like.
Hopefully by about 5, we'll have all the concrete in and poured.
Amy's very good on deadline, actually. She's all about the deadlines.
Well, time's money, and
Absolutely.
every builder needs somebody to check in every week and every day to make sure this is going, and sometimes I'm his best friend and sometimes I'm not.
So we've got a 4,000 PSI mix. The plans only call for 2,500 PSI, but we went a little stronger.
With the molds only 6 inches wide, they use less aggregate in the mix and more pressure to ensure that it fills tight.
But it's coming out a little wetter, so it actually shoots down harder. And then we're vibrating the wall to make sure we get good connection with all the concrete to the rebar. Johnny? Yeah. This panel's bulging. You never know when you get that much pressure coming down onto these foam panels if we're going to lose one. And when that happens, that's when we can get some of these blowouts. Marcos, corner.
A blowout would be a catastrophic setback for lost time and money. The men keep a close eye on the situation.
I'm just touching it to see if it's loose at all, but it's pretty tight.
Yeah, if we let it sit a few minutes, it'll start to set up.
It's going good. We're about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way done. I'm feeling good, feeling good.
But not for long.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Get a piece of 2x10 or 2x12. We need to get these braces on here. Get the 61 right here.
I am going to not be a happy camper.
At the Dorsey's Ultimate Sportsmans Lodge near Sedalia, Colorado, the last and most critical concrete pour of the job is in jeopardy.
Get a piece of 2x10 or 2x12.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Let me tell you what can go wrong.
We need to get these braces on here. Get the 61 right here.
These corners that we had, they're on a skewed angle, so we had to build them by hand. And unfortunately, with the pressure of the concrete, it just blew the bottom out. We could lose 20, 30 feet of wall.
Put a screw in that. Marco, we need a long one to here.
So we wanted to jump across and get proactive on a couple of the other corners that we had to make sure that we don't have that problem.
With the situation under control, the pour is back on track, as long as they don't run out of concrete.
We're close, man. Crossing our fingers and hoping we got enough to finish this wall.
The cement they lost in the spill must somehow be made up.
Start to get a shovel and get whatever you can get and start filling it in.
At the end of the day, there is a point on the horizon we got to hit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've got to meet that deadline.
That's it. Half a yard short.
Yep.
Ended up just a bit short of what we needed, but it's in a good spot for us. We'll finish it off tomorrow. All's good in the world today, but come tomorrow, it'll start the stress all over again.
And the next pressure-filled day arrives all too quickly.
You gonna start barking orders pretty soon?
Let's go, Greg. Come on.
It's all hands on deck as the crew scrambles to install the wooden joists that will support the floors in the lodge.
Looks like the storms are gonna be coming in the next couple hours, so figured I'd help these guys out, jump in, see if we can get ahead of the game, and see if we don't lose too much time with the storm today.
Like everything with this lodge, supporting the flooring system is a huge job. The floor covers the entire main footprint of the Dorsey's massive 10,000 square foot lodge.
We're solid all the way across this little hallway. We're gonna readjust and then basically start this whole side new.
Because the floor plan is split into a family wing, a guest wing, and an entertaining area in the middle, the single-story lodge is not only large, it's incredibly long. 235 feet, or about as long as 4 of these large semi-trucks parked end to end.
It's space efficient too, but I know that's hard to say because it's such a big house, but every spot does have a unique purpose to it. So.
Well, in case you didn't know, we're kind of detailed people.
But all those details and the extreme length of the lodge means extra work and challenges for the crew.
When you're 235 feet from one end to the other, you're bound to have a little bit of adjustment that needs to be done. This is not an easy house to lay out, but we're trying to go for perfection, so we're working it.
And another Colorado storm is moving in fast.
Hey,
Got about 5 minutes before we're gonna get wet, real wet. Get these last 2 joists in and get everybody up to the trailer before the lightning starts and the rain starts hammering us.
And that's a fast 5 minutes as the team bolts to the safety of their on-site trailer.
Heavy thunderstorms, lightning, lots of rain. Another day, cut short.
While the crew hunkers down to ride out yet another storm. 500 miles away, in a quarry in southwestern Wyoming, a prehistoric lake bed is being unearthed. Here, meticulous work begins to create one-of-a-kind backsplashes for the Liar's Bar in the Big Game Trophy Room.
A liar's bar is a place where the truth never gets in the way of a good story. I mean, if you're a hunter, you're an angler, you know the fish was, probably this big, but, could be told as though it were that big.
Where better to brag about the one that got away than at a bar emblazoned with prehistoric fish? These fossils are the actual bones of fish that swam more than 50 million years ago. Though it's hard to believe now, back then this part of Wyoming was covered by a prehistoric lake where ancient fish once swam.
We're splitting the sedimentary layers from that previous lake and finding those dead fish within the actual stone.
Once the rock is split, it takes a trained eye to spot the fossils.
So here's the negative of him right there.
The slabs are taken to a workshop in Utah, where the fossils hidden within the stone are revealed through a process called honing the stone.
The actual stone is softer than the minerals that make up the fossil. And what you see is all the natural color. We're not staining it. We're just removing the stone covering the actual fossil.
Though this labor-intensive work is far from done, the ancient fish will certainly play a key role as friends and family gather together in the Liar's Bar.
It's a conversation starter. Good news about a 50-million-year-old fossil is nobody can lie about how it was caught. I mean, that is so cool because this is like the backbone of the entire build,
Just a rough guess, we're looking at about 70,000 pounds of material.
Always makes me a little nervous when you can see it.
It is finally time to start raising the timbers at the Dorsey's Ultimate Sportsmans Lodge in Colorado.
I mean, that is so cool because this is like the backbone of the entire build,
Timber framing is an old world style of construction in which wooden structural frames known as bents form the framework of a building. It's been used for centuries to build lodges and lodge-inspired homes all over the world. Each bent is handcrafted and designed to remain exposed as a defining architectural feature of the lodge.
We're taking ideas from lodges that I've had the good fortune of traveling to around the world. Amy's been with me on some of those trips as well. So we're seeing some of these ideas that have really been baked into some of the greatest sporting destinations in the world, bringing it home right here.
Over the weekend, we met on Saturday with the guys. They are laying out the timbers. They started kind of getting everything set up, and Matt, who's the lead on the timbers, kind of started with us, and where's our scaffolding, where's our ladders, and where's the crane? And we just looked at him like, we have no idea what you were talking about.
What he's talking about is these bents are heavy.
3,600 pounds, he was saying, so yeah, that's going to be a big pick.
And there's no big enough crane at the build to hoist them up.
Just a rough guess, we're looking at about 70,000 pounds of material.
There was supposed to be a list sent to us, apparently, that didn't quite get out to us, so we started getting on the phone right away. John got a crane guy to come in tomorrow, and we've just been rounding up ladders and scaffolding for him.
Not quite the Amish way, but they mix muscle with a smaller forklift to get the timbers at least started.
We made up a plan on the fly when we showed up, and we saw we didn't have everything we needed. We decided, we'd just go ahead and pre-build as much stuff as we could and be ready, so as soon as the crane gets here tomorrow morning, we can just hit the ground running.
And it turns out some of the smaller bents can go up without a giant crane.
At least we got one up. Fits in good, looks awesome. Like to see more, but it is what it is. We'll take what we can get today.
And that might be all they get done today.
That was a little close.
Metal scaffolding and lightning are a potentially deadly mix.
It always makes me a little nervous when you can see it.
Next to Florida, Colorado has the highest number of deaths from lightning per year.
Lightning's just getting too close. It's not safe. Somebody could get hurt. It's not worth it. With the weather, we're going to have to do it tomorrow.
The next morning, the crane is in place. and the heaviest timbers are on their way skyward.
It's going good. The crane operator's doing a good job. That makes it a lot easier when the crane operator can get the material where we need it. We don't have to fight it.
The crew has to raise and secure 5 of these large sections or bents just to frame the great room at the center of the lodge.
I love that it's a really open concept plan for us. I love the fact that the kitchen opens up to the sitting room and the great room. We've kind of designed the house around the different spots we can move to with friends and family when they come over for a meal.
Every joint in the bent must be checked and double-checked before the next one can go up.
It's definitely a progression.
Yeah.
Step by step by step.
Yeah,
If you try and skip the steps, it doesn't want to fit together. The more you get up, the stronger it gets as it gets tied in.
As you've seen, it's a slow process. Everything has to be very meticulously done to make sure that one piece fits. Every time they do a phase, it has to be dead nuts. They cannot move on until that is given the okay, that it's plumb, it's level, it's where it needs to be.
And because of all the mud, a man basket is rigged to reach the outermost joints on the bents.
Switch to the man basket because the ground's not level out in the front, so it's just a lot easier to run off a man basket than to try and build scaffold on unstable ground.
With the weather situations we have, the ground is so soft, so it's just one of those hurdles we're dealing with again, so we improvise. Otherwise, we'd be at a standstill.
Whatever it takes to keep the crane working.
That costs us about $400 an hour, so we're wanting to make sure we're using him properly and keeping these guys going for speed.
The strategy works, and the weather holds. When the day is over, the third of the 5 great room bents is up.
By the end of the day, Friday, hopefully 3 more days, we'll have this timber frame all complete and we'll be ready to start doing SIPS panels.
Chris and Amy see more vertical progress.
It was really hard to conceive of it before you actually see all of those huge beams going up.
I need a moment. It's just such a big feeling to know your dream's finally going to happen. Go behind the build and see before and after action photos at greatamericancountry.com/Ultimate Lodge.
Nearly 2 months after work began, Chris and Amy Dorsey can finally walk among the first timber frames of their ultimate Sportsmans Lodge in Sedalia, Colorado.
Whew, look at that.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
That's crazy. So, I mean, it's really like a giant erector set.
That's exactly what it is.
Just assemble it right here. I mean, those are beautiful timbers.
You bet.
Cranes, bolts. Do the Amish know you're doing this?
No, we try and keep it a secret.
It was really hard to conceive of it before you actually see all of those huge beams going up. And it was actually more impressive in person than we could have ever imagined.
You start to feel the heights of the house, and now it's taking shape. We finally got that point where we're headed vertical.
And you're thinking how long to get all this done?
We've probably got about 3 to 4 days left to finish all the timber sets.
I gotta tell you, I would never have guessed, especially with all the weather we've been having, that you'd be this far along.
There's still a long way to go. But behind the scenes, there's been a secret plan to rush one special room of the house forward.
Big things to talk about today is just schedule, so I'm gonna talk about the kitchen.
We've got to get electrical there for the hood.
Yep.
And we've got to get electrical there for the barbecue and the pizza oven.
We got a little surprise. Amy's birthday's coming up. She doesn't know the outdoor kitchen's gonna be ready. We got a pizza oven going in. She has always wanted to have a pizza oven.
And it's not just any pizza oven. It's what many consider the best pizza oven on the planet. They're one-of-a-kind, European-inspired wood-burning ovens. This specialty oven came highly recommended to Chris Dorsey from a fellow sportsman.
We go fishing, and Jimmy Kimmel says, hey, if you're gonna have a pizza oven, it's gotta be a Renato. You gotta get these guys, puts me in touch with them.
Working overtime at night and weekends, the crew races the clock to get everything in place for the big day. And among the general chaos of the rest of the build, one special area now shines bright.
Oh my gosh, look at this pizza oven.
And to top it off, the designer himself arrives to cook the very first pizza in the new oven, which is his tradition.
Look at this. I can't tell you how excited I am about this.
Man, look at that. Taking notes here.
I'm taking notes. This is my dream come true. I have always
Pizza
wanted
oven.
to cook a meal in a pizza oven.
And then go straight inside a 700-degree oven.
Look at that. The first one, there it is.
There it
first of
is.
thousands to come. Look at that.
That's awesome. Look at this, boys. The first pizza from our pizza oven. Best pizza ever?
The whole family digs in, and Renato has another surprise in store.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Like we
Look
say,
at that.
like we say in Italy, buon compleanno.
Bon compleanno. Wow, look at
She
that.
looks really good for
Thank
28,
you.
doesn't she? What better way to spend your birthday, right? Bring in the man himself, make a pizza in your new pizza oven. He brings a birthday cake.
I'm the luckiest woman alive.
Happy 29, baby.
29 forever.
Next time on the Ultimate Sportsman's Lodge.
Stuff is slick, man.
Trucks are stuck. It's not safe.
And the Dorseys face their biggest challenge yet.
Literally that much water throughout this entire area.
I don't remember approving an indoor swimming pool.
I am going to not be a happy camper